Talk.
Oh, I think we're at the swamp and it looks fun and creepy.
Anything you want to say?
We here in the swamp and
Come on, go.
And it's really surprising to me. And
is there anything you would like to learn about today's trip?
I really like to learn where do like insects come from and stuff.
Anything you would like to learn?
I want to know
trip?
why spiders are in nature now.
Okay, good.
Right now we're at the swamp, and I think I just saw a frog go inside a hole. It was somewhere, but right now we're taking the nature walk.
Some small furry animals running on the forest floor. Can you see them? No.
I need my glasses for this.
Even if you look behind you, you might see them too. They're called chipmunks. They live on the forest floor, and I can show you a big picture. They look like this. They're very cute. They live on the ground. They eat nuts and berries and seeds. And a lot of people think that they're a type of a squirrel, but they're not. Squirrels like to live way up in the trees. I guarantee you're going to see a lot of chipmunks today. And this is where they like to live. They like to live in nice, soft dirt. Some of you guys might actually see them, you know, in East Orange around your houses. They like to burrow in tiny little places, even in cracks in the sidewalk too. So you can find them in a lot of different places. So, we might see lots of animals today. We've already talked about that we might see deer, we might see squirrels, we might even see a fox, we might even see rabbits, maybe raccoons, lots of animals. But the special thing about this place is that this is a National Wildlife Refuge. Do any of you guys know what it might mean for a place to be called a refuge? What kind of a place do you think we're talking about? If I say a place is a refuge, do you think people are allowed to hunt on it? Do you think people are allowed to build houses on it?
Nope.
This place is a protected place for all the plants and animals that live here, but this is not a zoo. So we won't be seeing these animals in cages. The way that we might get to see a close look at these animals is if we use quiet voices, because a wild animal, if they hear a loud group of people, they'll get scared and they'll run away. So you guys will be really lucky to see animals that are close to you, like the chipmunks. They're not scared of us because we're being really good and quiet. I actually heard the chipping sound. Can you guys hear that chip sound?
Yeah.
Like a squeak? That's a bird. That sound. Behind us, that's a chipmunk. They make that little chip sound.
Poop?
Yes, poop. As a naturalist, and as people who love to learn about animals, we're fascinated with animal poop. Which sounds disgusting, but it actually is really interesting. Because animal poop can tell us a clue about what animal's been there. Every animal's poop or scat looks different. So if we actually passed animal scat in the trail, you can raise your hand and tell everyone, because that actually lets us know what kind of animal's been there. We see a lot of fox scat around. Any guess as to what animal made this scat? This is a pretty big scat. Can you think of the largest animal that we might find here in the woods? What do you think the largest animal we might find here would be?
A bear?
Yeah, this is a black bear scat. They are the largest mammal that we can find in New Jersey. Have any of you ever seen a black bear? They can be found in any part of New Jersey, even in East Orange, even in very busy places. This is what the track looks like. It's really big. That's their actual footprint. It's called a mold. So when an animal steps in the dirt, we pour plaster in it, and it hardens, and it's the exact same shape as the animal's foot. And we understand it's a pretty big animal. And this is the front foot, so this is like the hand of the bear. I'll come by to you, I'll give everyone a chance. That is an actual footprint. Would you like to try?
Right now we're still taking the nature walk. We just saw a chipmunk, and a black bear's paw. Oh, and there's another. I think there's another.
Oh, yeah.
I think I saw another chipmunk over there. very, very
That's
sour.
why I gave you the cards.
And you
Cards
have
out.
not to take it away. You have to be very, very sour.
You've seen what? Chipmunks. What else?
Home?
A caterpillar's home? That's a great guess. It actually does look like a caterpillar's home. Are there any other guesses as to what it might be? It does look like a caterpillar's home called a cocoon or a chrysalis, but this is actually a pack of seeds. This is from a very special tree called a tulip poplar. It's one of the tallest trees that we'll see here. And it doesn't look like seeds up close, but you're going to see that I could peel away layers of it, and each layer is a seed. And they're all stuck together now because it's very young and it fell off the tree early.
And what is that called?
The tree?
What's in your hand? What do you call that?
This is the seed.
Oh,
This is the seed pod
Seed pod?
Yeah.
Of a plant?
of a tulip poplar tree.
Oh, okay.
So there's many, many seeds on that one small piece, and they're actually going to fall off in late August or September. The reason why those are on the ground is because there are animals that like to eat the seeds, and they cut the seed pod off before it grows. Have you ever heard of a squirrel?
Yes.
They love to eat those seeds. So that's why you're seeing them on the ground, because the squirrels cut them off the tree, come down the tree, and then eat the seeds. Because to a squirrel, it's delicious.
Right now we just saw a tulip poplar seed. Right now we just saw a seed from. It was like a case of seeds.
Chlorophyll. Do you know what chlorophyll does in a leaf? It makes it green. If you ever notice, look at all these leaves. They're all green. They're green because they have chlorophyll. They have no chlorophyll. They're white. So it's like a ghost plant. It's a parasitic fungus. What that means is that underground, the roots of this plant are feeding on something underground, like a larger root, like a tree root. Okay, so they're eating the nutrients maybe from this tree. Doesn't mean it's bad, but that's what it has to eat. We don't eat other like things that are alive, so we're not considered parasites. But this is a parasite. But it grows every year, around this time of year. And we're going to see more of it on the trail, and it's called Indian pipe. Yeah.
Don't the animals bite it?
I'm not sure if any animals eat this plant, because the animals that eat flowers, they eat the colorful part and the part that has the nectar in it, and they have not been eaten. The flower's still here, so I'm not sure if many animals eat this flower, because it's fungus.
Right now we just saw an Indian tulip pipe. It's called a tulip pipe because it looks like a pipe. And here's a little see at it right now.
Can we collect this?
It's white because it has no nutrients.
No chlorophyll.
No chlorophyll.
Come on, let's go.
And it is fungus. So I don't think that many animals.
Loud tweeting noise was a woodpecker, and this is a similar woodpecker that we see all the time here. It's called a red-bellied woodpecker. Do you see a red belly on that woodpecker? No.
But the head is red.
The head is red, but it's not called a red-headed woodpecker. The reason why is because there's another woodpecker, and it's called the red-headed woodpecker. And the reason why is because its entire head is red. This bird is not. So scientists had to make up a quick name to name this guy. So they said, well, the belly's kind of pink, so we're just going to call it red-bellied woodpecker. And that's what they did.
Is that the same flower?
No, that is... looks like wild lily of the valley. Have you ever seen lily of the valley?
No.
It's a beautiful little white plant. Right there.
Right here.
I love you. You guys are real scientists.
Right there. Oh, a small one. Thank you. What is it?
Okay, just saw a picture of a red-bellied woodpecker, and all I gotta say is wait, one sec. And all I have to say is, well, it looks beautiful. Right now, we just saw a picture of a red-bellied woodpecker, and all I have to say is, you need to say it too.
Wild, they're actually edible. I'm not sure if this one is, but it's a type of a cup fungus.
What's that?
And a cup fungus is it's shaped kind of like a bowl, okay? Like so it collects water in it if it rains. You can see the little bowl shape here. I'm not sure what this one is called, but it might actually be an edible fungus, okay? We're not going to try that. We should never there are plants that grow in the wild that people can eat. For example, this thorn bush right here, this is called green briar. And it has thorns, I'm going to be very careful, but these leaves are very young. If you were out in the woods and you were taking a survival class, or you were an avid hiker and you knew your plants, you could actually eat these leaves, the young leaves of a green briar, yeah. You can make a salad out of them or saute them, you know, like you would spinach, and they're actually very tasty. And I've actually eaten some of them myself, and they taste pretty good. It's the same as if you were, you know, to grow lettuce in a garden or, you know, like a salad. This is the same kind of thing. You know, every plant that we eat now used to grow in the wild, like tomatoes. How many of you like tomatoes? I used to not like tomatoes, but now I do. But tomatoes, they used to grow in the wild. And the tomatoes that we know today are developed from tomatoes that grew in the wild, and green briar is just another wild plant that is edible to people. We're not going to eat it now because it's not our objective today, unfortunately. Though it would be really cool. Those?
Right now,
Yeah.
we just saw a cup
Looks like
fungus.
somebody might have stepped
Look,
on it.
it's right there.
That's why it broke.
It's right there. It's a fungus that's edible. And we also saw green briar. A plant that we can actually eat. We can actually eat. It's on this.
Can you guys see the turtles out there?
No? Yes.
They're a little small. Do you guys see this rectangular platform in the middle of the water right here? You look to the right, there's another one, and it looks like there's like a lot of tiny rocks on it. Those are all turtles sitting on top
Right
of it.
now, we just saw a few turtles sitting on the side. We have to be very quiet so we can see them. Or they will run away, or they will swim
Turtle
away.
here if I kept it in my small bag because the turtle would be uncomfortable. But this is just a shell. When turtles die, they leave the shell behind, and there's a reason why the shell gets left behind. Do you know what turtle shell is made out of?
Wood. Rock.
Great guess. Well, think of something that's hard in even people. What makes our bodies stand up and is really hard? Bone. Turtles have bones just like we do, except they have a bone that grows outside their body, and that's their shell. Do you think a turtle can leave its shell?
No.
The turtles are born with shells on their back, and that shell grows with them as they get older and older. So they can't leave because their shell is attached to their spine, the same way we have a spine on our back, and we can feel it if we touch it. We just don't have a shell on top of it. But a turtle shell grows with them throughout its life, and the top of its shell here, you can see it's really flat. Take a look at that. It's not really round at all.
It's hard.
It is hard, but it's flat.
I saw the inside.
Because a painted turtle is a swimming turtle. Not all turtles like to swim, but this one does. You can see it's nice and flat.
I think that's what your spine is.
It is, because it's bone. It's the same as
One
if
at
you
a
were...
time, guys. You'll get a chance. Do it nicely.
Kind of, yeah. There are some turtles that are very closely related to dinosaurs.
On top of the... So the turtle got out on the spine of it.
Well, the turtle passed away. The turtle died. All things die in nature, and the turtle's body was...
Well, right
Yeah,
now
the
we
turtle's
just saw a
body,
turtle shell
you
from
know,
a turtle that
disintegrated away, but the bone was left behind.
passed.
Yeah.
It
Let me show you the picture of the turtles out there.
it was really beautiful, and the shell was really hard because it's kind of like bone.
You can see the shell. That's the shell that I just had in my hand.
What happened to that? The orange.
The orange?
The color just left out.
It does, because when the turtle dies, the color goes away. But the reason why it's called a painted turtle is not because people paint it. It's because it has those colors. It looks like something, you know, like an artist, you know, made those nice, beautiful colors on the turtle. Not all turtles look like this. We actually have a much bigger turtle here that people should actually keep clear from. Yes. Have any of you guys ever seen a snapping turtle before?
No.
I got it.
Not in person.
Of course, I can't find a snapping turtle picture. Yeah, it's a much bigger turtle. These are actually pretty small, but snapping turtles, they're the biggest turtle we have. They can be about maybe this big. How many of you have ever heard of poison ivy? This is poison ivy. It's a vine. It needs the tree to reach the sun because poison ivy can't grow by itself. It needs to get closer to the sun by climbing on a tree. You guys know poison ivy because it has leaves of 3. Okay, and if it has leaves of 3, you let it be. You don't touch it because it gives you like a rash on your skin. There are some people, though, who never get the poison ivy rash on their skin. Sometimes, you know, people just are immune to it, but actually, I've actually never gotten poison ivy myself. But sometimes it happens that the more you touch poison ivy, the more the chemical in the leaves, it's called urushiol, gets absorbed into your skin, and that means the more times you touch it, the more likely you are to have a reaction the next time you touch it again. So we should always try to avoid poison ivy when we can. There's a secret though. We humans are the only animals that have a reaction to poison ivy. Everything else in the swamp, bears, turkeys, raccoons, squirrels, think it's delicious, and they eat it. And they have no reaction to it. We're the only ones that do. Which is funny when you think about it. And there's more blueberries right behind it. So you guys can take a look at that as you pass it, but please don't reach out and touch it. Tail, and it's a flower. What animal do you think this came from?
Deer.
It came from a deer. Did it come from moose? Probably not, because, well, moose have different antlers. Their antlers are more flat, and they live further up north. I don't think there's ever been a moose in New Jersey. I would think it would be cool, but unfortunately there is none. No, actually the deer did not have to die in order to leave this behind. Deer, they grow antlers every single year. And do you think that all deer grow antlers, or just the girls, or just the boys? What do you think?
The boys.
It's actually the boy deer that grow antlers, and they grow 2 of them on the side of their head. So if I was a boy deer, I'd have 2 antlers. Looks like this. How do I look as a deer? I look good?
No.
No? Yeah? No? I don't think I look so great as a deer. But antlers, they're made out of bone, just like the turtle shell. And they grow it every year, and actually they grow it in the wintertime. And by January or February, they fall off every single year. And the deer doesn't have to die. The older the deer gets, the bigger the antlers are. And this is pretty small for a deer, so we might on the trail see antlers falling on the ground that are much bigger than this. You guys can have a feel for what it's like.
Soft.
It does feel soft. Why do you think it feels soft? They do have antlers to protect themselves from other deer and from other animals that might want to eat deer. But the main reason why a deer grows antlers, specifically a boy deer, is because this is how they get girlfriends. Girl deer love antlers. And if you're a boy deer and you have the most impressive set of antlers that are so shiny and beautiful and have lots of little points, then the girls will love you. And that is how a deer do. So, animals are interesting. You know, we want to look good, you know, for other people. This is how deer look good for other girl deer. Okay? Animals have their own way of communicating, the same as we do.
Yeah. So
What
right now we just saw a boy. Right now we just saw a deer antler.
Right, one line
That's
on our
how
right.
they get girls to like them.
One line on our right. Tiana and...
It does. Well, groundhogs are much bigger than that. The only animal that can make that and live in that is something as small as a chipmunk. As we come up to this spot right here, we're going to walk and pass it so everybody can see it. But this is a chipmunk hole. Chipmunks, they live in holes in the ground. Squirrels live up in trees, but chipmunks, they like to stay on the ground. And their home can have multiple holes to get into the same home. They're tricky that way. The reason why is because there are some animals, like foxes or raccoons, that love to eat chipmunks. That's right. So they need to have several entrances to their home. This is just one of them. They probably have a ton more hidden underneath these leaves that we can't see. So this is just one of them. As we're passing this, point down to it so the person behind you can see if they haven't seen it yet, okay? That way everyone knows where it is.
Is that?
No, that looks like a fungus. Let me take a look.
It's a fungus. A bunch of the vines.
Yes, that is a black fungus.
Okay, now. Right now we just saw a chipmunk hole. Right now we just saw a chipmunk hole. They have several. It's like
Watch your step, people.
they have a lot of entrances. So yeah.
You guys ever seen a pine tree before? Is there a special name that we call pine trees that never lose their needles in the wintertime?
Evergreen.
Evergreen. Pine trees and trees with the needles on them, they're evergreen trees. They never lose the leaves in the wintertime. Well, guess what? Neither do these. These are called mountain laurels. And earlier this month and last month, they had beautiful white flowers that were shaped like umbrellas. But feel the leaves on these plants. All around you, all these plants here, they're mountain laurel. Feel how thick they are. Nope. I wouldn't ask you to feel them if they were poisonous. I don't want to make you sick. You can feel them.
Holes in it.
That's That's a great question. There are lots of insects that like to eat the leaves.
Like
And the reason why, when you feel the leaf, you're going to feel it's smooth and waxy and very stiff for a leaf. It's sealing the water inside. That's what the wax does. And the insects, they eat the leaf to drink the water and get the nutrients. Question?
No, I see bite marks on the leaves.
Yep. The insect is probably eating a hole in there. See, here's another one. It's actually a little piece of the leaf. It does. If you look carefully, you might actually see a caterpillar. But they can be tough to find. But
Oh, I know what that is. That's the thing that makes it now.
it does. So,
I'll get you in a minute.
have any of you guys ever seen or heard an owl before?
Ooh, yeah.
Have you ever seen any in East Orange or around your area?
No.
They can be around your area if you listen very carefully at night. They like to perch on top of buildings too. They're not just found here. Animals can be found all over New Jersey. You just have to know where to look and when to listen. But they can be found anywhere. They're not just found here. Things that can also be found everywhere are their feathers.
Is that an owl feather?
This one is an owl feather. And I'm going to show you the difference in a little bit between these two feathers. But this is an owl feather.
A girl?
Huh?
A girl?
A girl owl? Well, I don't know if it's a girl owl, but this is from a very special owl that's actually an endangered species here. Do you know what it means to be endangered?
Yes.
What does it mean to be endangered?
Like,
Almost about to be extinct. Endangered means that it's almost about to be extinct.
Yeah, there's not many of them left in the wild. And unfortunately, it's because their habitat, is destroyed. This is one of the few places that, certain owls can live. This is from a barred owl, not barn owl. Barn owls, they live on people's farms and eat mice. Barred owl have these little stripes on their feathers that look like bars. Now, if I was to ask you what a barred owl sounds like, what could you tell me? Can you give me an example? This is a barred owl. How many of you think that sounds like a dog? It does, like an elephant too.
It's like both. It's like both.
It's like both combined. It doesn't really sound like an owl, but this is a real sound. So owl feathers are quiet. This feather that I had before, this is from a totally different bird. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
You can hear this. This is from a much stiffer feather from a very large bird that doesn't have to hunt at night. Can you think of any very large brown birds that you might see here?
hawks.
Great guess. Bigger than a hawk. We think about this bird particularly around the month of November.
Eagle.
Man, you guys don't know?
Turkey.
Turkey. We have wild turkeys here. Let me show you a picture of our friend the wild turkey. Here's wild turkey. Yes, they are here.
I want to ask you a question.
What is your question?
You see the red thing right there?
Yes,
That's their neck.
that is part of the throat.
Okay.
It's not because it's sick. It's not a disease. That's just the color. Bright red.
Why would they make it red though?
Why do they make it red? That's an excellent question. You know how deer love girl deer love large antlers?
Yeah.
Girl turkeys like that big red thing on their neck,
On a boy's neck?
on a boy's neck. If the boy turkey's neck is very bright and they have big tail feathers and they fan them out and make all sorts of noises like gobble gobble, girl turkeys love that.
The girl
That is how they communicate.
The girl turkey That's a skinny.
Yes, this is the girl. She's a lot less colorful than the boy.
The boys are popular. The
Popular?
girls are fancier.
The girls are fancy. They're fancy. They're very delicate. They're very ladylike. But these guys are just showy. It looks like an acorn cap that never produced an acorn.
Right now, we just saw the difference between an owl feather and a wild turkey feather. And right now we just saw an acorn.
That had come over from Europe many years ago when the first pioneers came by. They brought the seeds with them and they planted this. And it's an invasive species, which means it should not be here, but unfortunately it's able to grow. It's taken over a lot of the space. Now, why would a plant be a bad thing to have? Well, because there are natural native plants that are supposed to be here, but because this plant is growing so big and fast, the native ones can't grow. So you have to be careful, not to spread these around. Sometimes we even have to cut them down so that the actual plants that live here can grow. Yeah. Yeah, some of them are. You just saw me rip a piece of plant off from the swamp. Now it's hard to see them now because there's so many plants here, but if you look around, there's a plant with particularly big leaves. Because there's a type of a cabbage here called skunk cabbage. And it grows on the... Yeah? You learned about it? What can you tell me about skunk cabbage?
Yesterday, right? Skunk cabbage.
What can you tell me about skunk cabbage? Yes, sir.
I remember about it.
I forgot.
You forgot? Anybody who remembers? Yeah.
It's stinky.
Why is it stinky?
Because it's stinky.
Because of the word skunk.
Well, yeah, it does smell like
It's
skunk.
stinky because
I don't smell it.
it's stinky because some I don't remember.
That's okay.
I think it's because the skunk lived there.
Not because a skunk lived there. It's because it smells like skunk. That's why it's stinky. But why would anything want to smell like skunk? Well, let's see. If you were eating your favorite ice cream, and if your favorite ice cream smelled like skunk, would you want to eat it?
No.
No. There are animals here that love to eat skunk cabbage. And if you're a plant, can you run away?
No.
No. So you have to have an adaptation to help you try to fend off the animals that want to eat you. And animals that want to eat skunk cabbage are bears and snapping turtles. Love to eat skunk cabbage. And in order to try to make animals, not want it, it smells really bad. Now, can people eat it because it's called a cabbage? Maybe. If you need to survive, skunk cabbage can be eaten, but only if you boil it 9 times. Okay? Because it actually, if you tried to eat this, it actually has a crystal inside of it that could make your mouth very, very sore and hurt. So we're not going to eat it, but it's perfectly safe to smell. You agree that it smells like skunk? You can have a smell. Is it gone? Okay, thanks.
Let me smell it. It stinks.
Yeah.
Oh, you look at me.
They don't call it skunk cabbage for nothing.
All right, guys, remember we have to write down an observatory chart when we get back.
Right now we just got a whiff of skunk
Animals
cabbage.
are here all the time, even though we don't see them. And this is true for when you're home. Even if there's just one tree near you, you never know what you can find in it. Birds, bugs, caterpillars, lots of things. Yeah. Squirrels, yeah.
Then does the animals eat the food from here, or people just feed them?
Nobody's allowed to feed them. They eat the food that's all around them. But I want to show you an example that animals are here all the time. You just have to know where to look. I'm standing at a tree here. I want you to follow my finger up this tree and tell me what you see. What animal made those holes?
Woodpeckers.
Woodpeckers.
We have the largest woodpecker in New Jersey that makes holes here in these trees. And it looks like this. It's a pileated woodpecker. It's the biggest woodpecker in New Jersey.
He made the hole for it to live in there.
They make the holes to live in there, but they also make the holes to
We just saw a picture of a woodpecker, and we also saw a chipmunk and a robin. I gotta say, this is the best nature walk that I ever took.
So this is our box turtle. Did any of you learn about box turtles today? What can you tell me about box turtle that you learned about today? Yeah.
Box turtles can close their shell to make it look like a box.
They can completely close their shell to look like a box. There are many types of turtles outside. A lot of you guys saw the painted turtles, or I showed my class the painted turtle shell that I had in my bag. This looks nothing like a painted turtle shell. Her shell is more boxy. And her shell is a lot rounder than a painted turtle's because she's not a swimming turtle. A lot of people think that when they see a turtle, they think, ooh, it's a turtle, it must love to swim. Turtles must be live near water. Fluffy, that's her name, Fluffy. Is she fluffy? No. But do we have a weird sense of humor here? Yes. So, Fluffy is a land turtle. She likes to live on the forest floor and dig in the dirt. And she doesn't like to live near water. She only goes near water when she's thirsty. And yes, one of the characteristics of a snapping turtle is she's one of the few turtle species that, if she's scared, can completely close her shell. And if she closed it all the way, I would not be able to get in a toothpick. That's how tight she can close her shell. Can you guys tell me something else about turtles, even if you don't know anything about box turtles? Can you tell me something that you know about turtles or turtle shells? Yeah.
I know that turtle shells are made of bones.
Exactly. Turtle shells are made of bone. May I have a little ladder here, please? Just so I can walk through. I'd like you guys to keep this open, okay, just so I can walk by and not move you all. So this is what the turtle shell looks like without any of the colors on it. Now you can really see that it's made of bone. And it would probably look the same color as your bones if they were outside of your body. Now before I say anything else, now you guys can see your feet. And some of you guys might see that she's actually, it looks like she's swimming in midair. She's like, sometimes she goes like this, or she'll kick her feet out. She's not actually trying to swim. We do call it the fluffy swim though. But what she's actually trying to do when she does that, when you see that happen, it's because she's trying to feel the ground. Because I just picked her up and now she's floating in midair. And she was just sitting in a nice warm pile of dirt. So she's probably wondering, I was just on the ground, where am I now? I swear it was there a minute ago. She's trying to feel it out. If I picked you up off the ground and you were dangling in the air, you'd probably want to find the ground too. So that's what she's doing. That's a great question. I'm not going to put her down because she's not meant to be on a hard floor. Do you think there are hard floors out in the wild? No. No, there's just dirt. There might be sand or gravel, but not a hard floor. She's not meant to walk on one. But that's a very good question. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Question. Can turtles leave their shell? Raise your hand if you think they can. No. Raise your hand if you think they cannot. Turtles cannot ever leave their shell. They grow with the shell that they were born with on their back. The reason why they cannot leave their shell is because this is attached to it. Yeah?
We were walking across the height. The girl, she showed us the turtle's spine. The turtle's spine, and she said that they cannot leave their shell because if they can't leave their shell, they can't go back in.
That's right. They can't leave their shell because their spine is attached to it. Their spine is attached to their bodies. We can't leave our spine because it's attached to us. We can't get any bones, okay? Turtle, they have a spine too, and they're attached to it. They just happen to have a shell on their back as well. So their shell grows with them. So this is it without the colors, and that's their spine. By the way, do you know what it means for an animal to have a backbone? What an animal it's called? If an animal is able to swim, what's it called? Yeah. Vertebrate, yes. So animals that have bones or that have a backbone are called vertebrates. Are we vertebrates?
Yeah.
Yes. She is doing her swim, yes. She's doing it. She's not actually swimming. She's really trying to find the ground. So she's also looking around at you guys going, people heard those loud, colorful people sitting around you wearing all these funky clothes and shoes, and they are definitely not turtles. So she's looking around, wondering what's going on. Now she's very used to me holding her, but still, it's probably really uncomfortable for her, to be held above the ground. But I'm making her as comfortable as I possibly can. Yep. She's kicking because she thinks my hand is the ground. She's trying to get a hold of my hand, thinking that she can push up my hand and move. Yep. Well, she was digging in the dirt. So, I introduced Fluffy. Fluffy is a girl turtle.
It looks like a boy that's cranky.
It looks like a boy that's cranky. She does look kind of cranky. You can see her eyes. She's kind of giving you attitude. Her eyes is kind of angry. Kind of like a bird. If you were to look up at the bald eagle, you can see the eyes. Bald eagles look angry too all the time. But they're not. But that's just the way she looks. The reason why I can tell that Fluffy is a girl and not a boy is because boy box turtles have brighter colors on their shell and eye than girls do. You can see in this picture here that boy box turtles have beautiful bright orange, yellow, and black colors on their shell. And look at that beautiful red eye. Boy turtles have a big bright red eye.
I thought she's bad now.
Yeah, she has kind of a dull orange eye. Yeah. So she's a lot more dull than the boy box turtle. Why do you think that is? Those of you guys in my class, remember my talk about why girl deer like boy deer? Well, if I was a girl turtle and I saw a boy turtle with a beautiful brightly colored shell, I'd think that's pretty good looking. So that is how box turtles find mates. If a girl turtle like Fluffy sees a hot turtle with a nice shell, well, that's how she goes. See, she's a lot duller. Darker, yes. You can really see the difference here. Fluffy.
Can we touch her shell or no?
You're going to get to touch her after I'm done telling you a little bit about her. She also has a story.
Alright guys, maybe you have to quiet down.
So Fluffy also has a story that comes with her, and it's not a very happy story, but it has a happy ending. So first off, before I tell you her story, do any of you know what kind of an animal Fluffy is? She's not a bird. She's a special type of animal that has scaly skin. What is that called?
A mammal?
Not a mammal. We are mammals. Why are we mammals?
Yeah, I know what that is. Alright,
Raise your hands and wait for your turn, please.
What?
We're mammals because when we're born, then we're not born in eggs, we're born
Live. Yeah, we're born live. We have hair, and our moms give us milk. That's what makes us mammals. She is a different kind of animal. She's a type of us. We have our story of how we got here, and how our lives are. She has a story too. And part of this presentation is talking about wild animals. And why wild animals should stay wild animals. Because Fluffy lives in a cage here. Is she a wild animal?
No. Yeah.
She was a wild animal a long time ago. When she was a baby turtle, a grown-up, not a kid, an adult, saw her on a property. Yeah, rodents. Maybe turtles, depending on the size of the turtle, yeah. Mice. Rats, mice. Her favorite food is mice. Now, there's another reason why she's called a corn snake. Hands down real quick. She's called a corn snake, well, first of all, because she's the color of Indian corn. Beautiful color. Isn't she pretty?
I think it's
Lovely orange color. I'll tell you that in a second. But she's found in farmers' cornfields. That's also why she's called a corn snake. A lot of people have misinterpretations about snakes. They think once they see a snake, oh my God, it's a snake, it's venomous, it's going to bite me, kill it. Well, corn snakes are actually really beneficial. Because farmers, when they see a corn snake in their barn, they think, ooh, fine, I have a corn snake. That's a good thing. Why do you think it's a good thing for a corn snake to be in a barn with corn? What does she eat? She eats mice. What do mice eat? They eat the corn. So having her around is a good thing, because she eats the mice that would eat farmers' corn. That's part of the reason why she's called a corn snake. Now, you guys will notice I'm not actually holding on to her. My hand is flat and open. She's holding on to me. How does she do that with no arms and no legs? Her body is a giant muscle. She actually has, she's checking everything out. She can hold herself up just like that. And her body is a muscle. Because she doesn't have to bite her food to kill it, she's what's called a constrictor. What do constrictors do? Do you guys know? Have you heard that word before? You might have it associated with anacondas. They do the same thing. What does a constrictor do? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I had a different question.
You got a different question? What is your question?
It was that's the same thing as a reptile, like Fluffy.
Yes, she is a reptile as well.
I got a question.
So what does a constrictor do? Yeah.
They squeeze the object to death until they can't sleep, and then they eat it.
Yes, they squeeze their food until it stops breathing. So she squeezes her food. She's squeezing me too. Is it because she's trying to kill my hand? No. She knows that my hand is not a mouse. So she's not interested in my hand for food at all. I'm going to take off my necklace. The reason why I take off my necklace is because as a reptile, she likes warm places And the warmth from other things like the sun or different places, they can help her metabolism. She's what's called cold-blooded, which means she needs other warm things to help her stay warm. So if she finds a place on my body that's warm, she'll try to go there. For example, she's a big fan of armpits. Sometimes she'll try to go up my sleeve in my armpit. What she's going to try to do right now, if I don't stop her real quick, she's going to try to go behind my back and up my hair. I don't know where she is right now. She's also a big fan of belt loops. Oh, she's going. Excuse me. She's also a big fan of belt loops. Why is she a big fan of belt loops? Because she likes staying in places where we can't move her. Because she wants to, be safe in one place. And because she's a muscle, she can stiffen her body up and stay in one place that she chooses. So it's really put together.
And this was our wonderful tour. I hope we can see you again.